Today we're gonna kind of catch up on some other celebrity gossip. One big thing is Amber Heard is making comeback. Uh, I'm not sure how I feel about this, honestly, in regards to Amber Heard. Um, I I was under the impression that Amber Heard had left the country because of the backlash with Johnny Depp and that whole lawsuit, right? Which kind of reminds me that let's not forget that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are trying to move across the pond to the UK, maybe for business, but maybe because of this lawsuit too. I don't know. That is not a fact. That's just my opinion. Maybe they could do better overseas. But Amber Heard apparently has been doing well overseas. And she's going to be the new Bachelorette, which is fine, totally fine, right? Each their own. I mean, I can't say anything. I'm on the Bumblebee app. You know what I mean? So, my concern, though, and really I shouldn't have any because it's Amber Heard, but is she healed? Is she healed from her trauma? Is she healed from what she's infamous for? The bedroom stuff, waste. But has she healed from that? Because we saw some pretty ugly sides of Amber Heard. And honestly, what do men think about? Is that a red flag? Is that a green flag? Would you want to be Amber Heard after you saw what Amber Heard did? Are they going to ask if she went to therapy or EMDR or whatever? I mean, and I have to say, to be fair, there was a lot that went in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial that we didn't see. There was the evidence that Amber Heard didn't get to present, and maybe it skewed the way that the case looked. But does that really negate Amber Heard's actions or what we saw in that court case? And if you saw that, would you be able to move past that? Because if I were dating Amber Heard, I would be like, at what point are you going to get mad at me and be vindictive? At what point are you going to be calling the paparazzi on me and be vindictive? Does anybody really want that? Or would anybody really want that type of attention? Like, honestly, I probably wouldn't want that type of attention with Amber Heard. I think I would have a lot of explaining to do to my friends and family if I went out with someone like Amber Heard. And not to say that that's like, a reason or whatever not to date her, but I think it would be extra work. I mean, but I also think dating a celebrity would be extra work too, you know. So Amber Heard and The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. Um, I'm gonna have to sit with that for a while, but I really hope that she's healed and moved on. Next, Taylor Swift, the Taylor Swift of it all. So Taylor Swift is getting sued by I believe this is a literal showgirl, and she has avoided service like Taylor Swift has done. And are we really surprised that Taylor Swift has supposedly, allegedly, but she's in magazines and newspapers and internet gossip saying that it's really hard to sue her because you can't serve her. So here's my theory. What if that big hoopla that made it in Star Magazine was not service from Justin Baldoni or Blake Lively? What if it was service from the Showgirl lawsuit and Taylor Swift turned around and blamed it on Justin Baldoni and Wayfair for the optics of it. Because maybe, just maybe, the one that is suing her might be in the right and she might be in the wrong. I guess we'll find out during discovery if it makes it through. But what if Taylor Swift took that opportunity? Because there's so much hoopla around Wayfair and Justin Baldoni in the lawsuit. She was already victimized in this whole cascade of events in the lawsuit. Why not just continue the perception of being persecuted for being a friend? Maybe she needed to protect her image, improve her image, get sympathy, and the best way to do that is say, hey, this guy, but ignore that girl. Do you think that's what happened in September? So it's going to be very interesting, and I will pay closer attention to this case now that Taylor Swift is getting sued, because I think that's going to show a lot of the. I think it's going to bring down the curtain of lies that she has been trying to spread and hide, in my opinion, and hide behind in order to maintain her squeaky clean image. And I think that's what she's trying to do. So we have Amber Heard as the new Bachelorette. I hope she's healed. And then we have Taylor Swift changing the narrative again and blaming everything on Justin Baldoni, at least in September or October, whenever that service subpoena hoopla was. So it's an interesting day. Maybe we'll get an order from the court today. I am working on some stuff. I do Friday, 8 p.m. We are doing a live. I say we. I did invite Cassidy O'Connell, so I hope that she is able to come on. It will be a live Q&A, so you will be able to ask questions with this victim of teen disciplinary school. There's a lot that goes behind this, so it's not just this person was abused at this school. It's money, it's conspiracy, it is pyramid schemes. So we're gonna have a chat about that on Friday. Saturday is Bocce Day, so I'll be live with Bocce at 8. And I think that's all I have. Saturday, I will be off with some interesting conversation, but other than that, that's it. Oh, and if you wanted some tea, Manhattan and I are sharing Hulu logins so that he doesn't have to use a library card. I think that's funny. But anyways, everybody have a beautiful Wednesday. We made it to hump day. And good Lord, I'm so ready for this week to be done with because I'm so done. All right, see you guys possibly later tonight with Gelf. I know that he was in the hospital yesterday. He should be hopefully home now. If not, I will probably still come on. Maybe possibly with an alien theorist if I can get him on tonight. Otherwise, you guys have a beautiful week.